What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Holy moly, 45 episodes, guys. This is 45. That's
45.
insane.
There's only 52 weeks in the year.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It's
like
crazy
killing
we've been doing it this long.
It is.
Almost a whole year.
I mean,
It's our
seriously. And the
anniversary.
last 6 months have been epic.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just these guest lists are insane.
Yeah, seriously.
We have another great show this week.
That's right.
We got Oprah yet?
No.
No,
We do
Oprah yet?
have this week, though, the one and only Mr. Feeny himself,
Yes.
William Daniels,
Oh,
and his
my goodness.
amazing wife, Bonnie Bartlett.
Yes.
Which you might know from Twins and Little House on the Prairie, and even also Boy Meets World.
Mm-hmm.
4 Emmys between them.
Epic.
And the one and only Jeremy Gordon.
That's right.
From America's Hottest Podcast, America 2.0.
Yeah.
He put the cast together.
Yeah.
The phenomenal cast.
Hell
Lawrence
yeah.
Fishburne, freaking Patrick J. Adams. I mean, so many.
So many.
It's going to be a blast.
It's gotta be great. It's gotta be great. But have you guys seen we're Crazy Ant Media now?
Crazy Ant Media!
Go follow us everywhere at
Oh.
Crazy Ant Media. Just wanted to say it. At first. But let's get started with some industry news.
What's
news.
going on? What's
The
happening?
Golden Globes, the nominations
Oh.
came out.
Mm.
So we're going to talk about those.
I heard there were some snubby snubs.
There
There
a little
were
bit.
some snubby snubs
Yeah.
and then some obvious like choices.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, let's just jump into it. We'll go category by category.
Let's do it.
And let's talk about it. So, what do you want to start with? Best motion picture drama. First of all, for anybody out there who's not familiar, the Golden Globes actually break up the best picture category into 2 separate categories, which to me has never made sense,
Yeah.
but whatever. They do drama and then they do best picture musical or comedy.
Yeah.
And this year, I got to really say there's a couple on the musical comedy list that should probably be on the drama list.
Yeah.
And on the drama list, that should probably be on the musical comedy. Or can they just not do it and just make it all? I mean,
Right, one thing.
Yeah, I feel
Because
like
there's
they're
still
trying
some
to.
genres that you're like just excluding.
Yeah, well, and I
Exactly.
feel like they're just they're trying to be politically correct because they don't want to leave anybody off the list.
Yeah.
You know, we can do 10 films and if we break it up into 2 categories.
Right.
Unlike the Oscars,
It'll
you'd
be
do, like,
okay.
5. It's like,
Yeah.
no, just pick 5
Yeah.
and like,
Best
know.
picture, most popular picture. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, oh God, remember that. Go back and listen to the old, we'll find that. I mean, God, what an
Yeah.
awful idea
Oh,
that
my
was
goodness.
by the Oscars. But okay, Golden Globes, let's break it up first. Best motion picture drama.
Drama.
All right, here are the nominees. Black Panther, Black Klansman, Bohemian Rhapsody, a lot of music in that one.
Yeah.
If Beale Street Could Talk, and A Star Is Born, yet another lot of music.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Those are some good ones.
those are
Yeah.
some really good
Yeah.
ones. I'm not at all surprised by A Star Is Born.
Yeah.
I am not at all surprised by Bohemian Rhapsody. I am not at all surprised by Black Panther. I haven't seen If Beale Street Could Talk yet. I think it's. I mean, I haven't seen it,
I
so
haven't
I'm
either,
gonna
yeah.
reserve judgment on that. Black Klansman.
Mm-hmm.
I loved the film. I enjoyed it. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. I'm a big Spike Lee fan. I thought all the performances were good. I don't think it's a Best Picture nominee.
Yeah.
Not for the Oscars, not for the Golden Globes.
What was this the one where you were going to put Vice in its place?
Yes.
Mm,
I would put Vice in its place. But Vice is on the comedy music.
I know, that's
Like,
so weird.
What?
I
But
don't
see, that's what we're
understand.
talking about, though. In the Oscars, that's not the case.
Yeah.
And if you're going to pick, I think Vice has to go there instead of Black Klansman.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You're trying to do diversity. You got Black Panther and Black Klansman. And, the Golden Globes and the Oscars are always hammered about
Yeah.
diversity. It's so white. Oscar's so white, blah, 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 blah. But if you're going to do, in my opinion, diversity, you already got Black Panther up there. Put Crazy Rich Asians. Not
Yeah.
Black Klansman.
Yeah.
It was just as entertaining. It was shot just as well. The performances were just as good. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
Nothing against Spike Lee or the film. I loved the film. I just don't think it's Best Picture worthy. Like,
I think it is. It's great. It's a
I know,
great film.
I know. We
It's
disagree
so
on
good.
this.
It's so good. I'm
I
sorry.
agree. I just don't think.
Yeah.
Tavia, what do you think?
I have not seen either of those.
Ooh.
Recommended.
I know. I don't have time for
Yeah, it's
movies
true.
right
You
now. I
have-
don't. I just.
So much on your plate.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I really do recommend both of them. Though.
Yeah.
Go see Black Klansman. Go see Crazy Rich Asians. tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think. Which
Yeah.
one do you think should be up there? Because when it comes Oscar time in a couple of months, only one can.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see. We'll see.
All right, Best Actress in a Motion Picture: Glenn Close, Lady
Yep.
Gaga, Nicole Kidman, Melissa McCarthy. Yeah,
Yeah, Melissa McCarthy.
yeah. I mean,
And
Lady
Rosamund
Gaga.
Pike.
Yeah,
So yeah, this is a good category.
Yeah.
And this is tough.
yeah. But I mean, Lady Gaga.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I mean, on the first category, I think it's gonna be A Star Is Born.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be A Star Is Born. And in this one, I think while all the rest of them probably really fantastic, I've seen most of those films. It's gonna be Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Lady Gaga's gonna carry this home every which way possible.
Yeah.
Golden Globes, Oscar, the Grammys. She's gonna get every award she can get for this, and well deserved in my opinion.
it was
Well
just an
deserved.
amazing film.
Well deserved.
It'll
Random
make you
question:
cry.
do they put Lady Gaga on her trophy, and like is that what it's announced as, or do they
Right,
put her real
right.
name?
Yeah, no, that is her stage name, and
Okay.
it will be. That's how it will be
Oh,
announced.
okay.
But what about on the trophy? They'll put
The
Lady
trophy's
Gaga.
like whatever she wants on there. Yeah, I mean the paychecks and SAG and all the all the union work. That's
Yeah.
her real name most likely, but yeah, she can put whatever she wants on there, and she will be announced as Lady Gaga. Although oddly enough, Sam Elliott. Funny story we read about this. Sam Elliott said, "What am I doing here? Because I'm not calling you Lady, and I'm not calling you Miss Gaga.
Yeah.
like how's this gonna go?" And she said, "You just call me by my real name. Here it is." And so they developed a little
Yeah,
relationship,
that's
and
cool.
apparently Sam Elliott's like, "This is what I'm going."
Yeah,
So
he's like-
I mean, I would guess then she just went by her real name on the set all
Yeah.
the time. So I mean,
That's cool. I can just see him say, "I'm not gonna call you Lady Gaga."
Miss Gaga. I mean, true though. Like, I mean, come
That's
on,
funny.
that seems all right.
Yeah.
But all right,
Best Actor in a Motion Picture: Bradley Cooper, William Dafoe, Lucas Hedges, Rami Malek. I don't ever know. John David Washington. There's a lot of good ones on that one too.
There's a lot of good ones on there.
Yeah. Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born, William Dafoe, At Eternity's Gate, Lucas Hedges, Boy Erased, and Malik, Bohemian Rhapsody, and Washington, Black Klansman.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think whoever wins the best motion picture should probably get the best actor as well?
Probably, but my money here is at least for the Golden Globes, Willem Dafoe or John David Washington, because I think that Rami Malek and Bradley Cooper will negate each other.
Yeah. You think so?
I do. I mean, I just my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know. I mean, if I was voting, it would go to Bradley Cooper.
Right.
But that's just me. If they'd sweep. I mean, A Star Is Born would sweep.
Yeah.
Just like send everybody home.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's my opinion, but
It's just so good. It's just so
it
good.
really is.
Like-
it really is. I mean, Fabia, you got to see it.
You really do.
I know.
mean-
I have such a long list of movies to catch up on.
That
like,
one, if you really want to get pumped, get in the mood, and just be like, I got to see this movie, click on the soundtrack real quick, and you'll be like, shit, I got to go see this movie because the soundtrack, it basically walks you through the movie.
Yeah.
It's in order of what takes place in the movie. So I mean, but it's epic.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I will have almost 2 weeks off, so
There
you
I'll
go.
just
See?
see
There
a
you go.
movie a day.
Now, switching things up a little bit, I know we were just talking about the Golden Globes, but have you seen the new Avengers trailer?
Yeah, I did.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
What did you
we're
think?
gonna talk about that in a minute. And
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Woo,
just
so
saying.
much to say about that. Even one thing that we saw today, and we'll get into that. But okay, now here's my thing though: best motion picture, musical, or comedy. There it is. Crazy Rich Asians. This is my beef. Like, you can't have both. In the Oscar time, it can't be both. Which one do you pick?
Right.
I made my pick. Crazy Rich. But okay. And then the favorite, Green Book, Mary Poppins Returns, and Vice.
Like, why is Vice?
Why
in there?
is Vice like? Have you seen the trailer? Have you
It's like,
watched the movie?
It has nothing
guys?
to do with
Like,
music at all.
no. While there's some comedic tone in there with like George Bush,
Yeah.
W, not HW, rest in peace.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some comedy because there's some laughable moments in that administration and throughout those years or whatever, but it is not a comedy.
Yeah.
It sure ain't a musical. They're not singing. Like, this should have been in drama.
Yeah.
Like,
agreed.
I'm looking forward to that one, though. I think that one will be a pretty good one.
And did you notice who's not on the best actor list, either in the music or comedy or like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I feel like.
Who's missing?
Well, there's a couple of people I think in Vice that deserved leading roles. And didn't get it. Like, I'm not taking it. I mean, Christian Bale's phenomenal, and he should be. But I mean, how do you not do Bush?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you got to have the guy playing Bush on there as a leading actor. There is no Cheney without Bush.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I mean, either Bushes. I mean, Cheney played a significant role in because it does kind of span his history, not just the W administration.
Yeah.
It spans his history, and both of the Bushes were significant in his history.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, and he's hilarious in that one clip when he's like getting him to be the vice president.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I mean, it's I don't know. I think Sam Rockwell should be on the list.
Yeah.
But
Oh man.
that's just my opinion.
Yeah. But craziness.
Okay, so What I mean, Mary Poppins Returns.
Mary Poppins Returns. I don't know, man. Have we seen a trailer for that come out yet? I haven't seen anything.
Yeah. Not. I don't think like a full out, you know, final this is it trailer, but we've seen a couple.
Is it out yet?
No.
So it's nominated before it's even.
Well, the Golden Globes are the
this
foreign.
is what I don't like about the Golden Globes.
The Golden Globes are real tricky. It's the Hollywood Foreign Press Association does the Golden Globes, meaning that a lot of these films have been released foreign already and they've seen them.
Yeah.
But a lot of people in America, while they're watching this awards show, the film hasn't even come out here in America yet. And they're like, well, how do you know, not
like I have no idea.
Yeah, that's why though. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association. There's also some, questionable, like if you, I mean, they're not like the Oscars.
Yeah.
You can buy, I'm going to take some heat for this, but you can really kind of buy and sway the Hollywood Foreign Press Association. I mean, you can put a lot of money and kind of like get the vote you want to get.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know the Oscars, you put ad campaigns out there and you kind of petition hard, but they still kind of vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Golden Globes is kind of like,
just
the best picture's going to be us, right?
Like,
and like,
goodness gracious.
there's been some rumors for that for decades. And I just kind of feel like it's true. That said, most of the time, whoever wins the Golden Globe goes on to win the Oscar.
Oh, shit.
So,
well, damn.
Majority of the time.
Yeah.
There have been some exceptions, but the majority of the time, you win the Golden Globe, you normally win the Oscar.
That's crazy.
So,
yeah.
All right. Well,
but those that happens in January, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, the Golden Globes are in January. So maybe we can make some predictions on the big categories before it comes out. So that'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then, all right, so let's get into it. Best Actress in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Emily Blunt for Mary Poppins Returns. Olivia Colman, The Favorite. Elise Fisher for 8th Grade. I haven't seen that one yet, and I really want to see
really
that.
Good.
I've heard it's really, really good. 8th Grade.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But I
Directed
hear
by
it's really good.
Bo Burham.
Yeah.
He was a comedian for a long time. Yes, and I was like, wow.
Charlize Theron for Tully, and
Tully's
she
a good one.
way deserves to be on the list. Tully was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And not many people saw it.
Yeah.
Because it limited release. We were fortunate enough to get it, and it was, I mean, unbelievable. Absolutely. And Constance Wu, definitely. She was amazing in Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah.
So that's a good list, and that's a tough list. I don't know. That's a tough list.
Yeah. I'd like.
So you sure we're coming back and making predictions next
Right.
month?
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I know. It's hard.
Best Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy that might not be a musical or a comedy. Christian Bale in Vice. Like, maybe drama. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Mary Poppins Returns. Viggo Mortensen for Green Book, which, again, is this a comedy?
Right.
Like have you seen Green Book? I mean,
I don't understand.
I don't know. Robert Redford for The Old Man and the Gun. And John C. Reilly for Stan and Ollie. Man,
I want to see that one.
I want to see that one. That's another one that hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
But man, just even looking at the clips and the trailers, that looks freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And John C. Reilly, holy cow, the
He's
makeup
awesome.
right there.
Yeah.
Have you seen the trailers? Oh my god!
I'm just a fan of John C. Reilly.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
awesome.
well, in this category, since they're gonna deem it musical or comedy, this film is actually probably a comedy with a lot of, I'd say, dramedy, because there is a lot of drama about the behind the scenes of Laurel and Hardy. But I'm sure there's a lot of comedy in it too. But I want him. I mean, I'm not. We'll come back to it when we make our picks. But I'm thinking, John C. He should get it. I mean, he looks phenomenal in this film.
It looks so good.
I mean,
I
seriously.
can't wait.
Oh boy, here we go again. Another hard one. Man, we need a month to try to pick these things. Best actress in a supporting role in any motion picture. That's another thing. They break up the lead actors, but then the supporting, it's just any film.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to do drama or musical. We're just any film. I mean,
it doesn't matter.
They're crazy. Like a Hollywood Foreign Press Association. Get your shit together. So, best actress in a supporting role in any motion picture. Amy Adams in Vice. Claire Foy for First Man. Regina King, If Beale Street Could Talk. Emma Stone for The Favorite. Rachel Weisz for The Favorite.
See, haven't seen any of those.
Yeah, no, that's going to be...
And I heard some bad stuff about Claire Foy's performance in First Man, right?
Yeah, that a lot of the reviews said she wasn't utilized to her full capacity. It was basically just a whiny token wife. And I feel like, I mean, really? Because if you were the director of that film, and you didn't use her to the fullest capacity, because she is freaking phenomenal. Yeah. But I have a hard time believing that, because this is the same person who did, with Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. What was it? The last year's big winner that wasn't the winner?
Oh, La La Land?
La La Land. Yeah, it's the same guy, La La Land. He's a brilliant director.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing he didn't utilize Claire Foy. But I haven't seen the film, so I'll have to see it before I make a comment.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks great.
Yeah,
there was more controversy with that, too, though. Apparently, they skipped the whole point or part of when they... plant the flag on the moon.
Yeah, I heard about that.
They wanted to make it. They didn't want to focus on America. They wanted to make it a world accomplishment. But
we did it.
We did it. It was an accomplishment for the world, except according to Steph Curry, we did not.
I know. Yeah.
That's
new.
play basketball, Steph. Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't understand.
I don't understand either. NASA kind of, put him in his place, but I mean, it's just like what.
The conspiracies, man.
It's not going away.
Where?
It's not going away. Like, why
non-believers.
would we... I mean, why would we lie about it?
I don't know. Kyrie Irving thinks the world's flat. It's fine.
It's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird people out there.
There's a lot of flat earthers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're passionate people.
They
passionate people.
They get
seriously.
upset. Like, really upset. I saw this one guy when Houston was flooding in that one storm, and he was like... because this is how things work.
Yeah.
He took like a ball and was like pouring water over it. And he's like, "See, the water just runs off. It doesn't flood." And he took a plate and poured water on it. He was like, "It floods because it's flat, like the Earth." And he was
my God.
so upset. I was like, "Bruh,
calm down,
even
buddy."
How it works. Like, you're not even.
Oh my gosh,
that's
man.
hilarious.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow. If you tilt it, which the Earth tilts on an axis, it'll fall off the plate too.
Not if it's flat, man.
Just saying. Okay, best supporting actor in any motion picture. Mahershala Ali. Just phenomenal actor. God, he's so fantastic. For Green Book, Timothy Chalamet for Beautiful Boy, Adam Driver for Black Klansman, Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me, and who I think should be on the lead actor, but not, Sam Rockwell for Vice.
Nice. I gave it to Adam Driver because he's from Indiana.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. And he has a good performance in Black Klansman.
I will say he absolutely deserves a nomination. I think without him, Black Klansman, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean,
Seriously.
he really is the guy that infiltrates.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an interesting. If you haven't seen the story, about a black man who infiltrates the KKK, but for people who don't know, it's actually a white man that goes with the black guy guiding him as to
Yeah.
what to say and do, and he's pretending to be the black man.
Such
but
a good
as a
story.
white guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that made
Any
sense
sense,
at all.
yeah.
You got to see the movie.
It's
But,
so
Sounded kind of like Robert Downey Jr.
you
there.
gotta see the movie. It was exactly what happens.
Yeah.
It's just if you don't think it makes sense, you gotta see the movie.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly.
Best motion picture animated.
Ooh.
Incredibles 2, Isle of Dogs, Mirai, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and I was thrilled to see this one. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse makes it into the best animated category.
That's awesome.
It's not going to win,
No.
but I was thrilled that it's in there.
Yeah.
But it's just this film has gotten a lot of like love recently.
It really has. That's
Yeah.
because like like Ralph Breaks the Internet, apparently in Spider-Man Into the Spider, everybody's in it.
Yeah.
Like there's all
That's
kinds
crazy.
of major huge stars that are voicing all these characters,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
But Incredibles 2 is so good.
I know. I think this one's going to be a battle between Incredibles 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I think
Either way, Pixar wins.
I mean, is
Okay.
it? Yeah, Ralph Breaks it. No.
No, it's
Yeah.
not Pixar?
No.
No?
Is it?
Yeah? No?
No?
No.
Yeah?
Maybe?
We'll
No?
get back to you.
We'll get back to
We got a fact check.
But I'm hoping Incredibles 2.
you. Yeah.
I mean, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, Gal Gadot, everybody.
Gal
like,
Gadot.
just everybody. But Incredibles 2 is just like, it was epic. It did not fail after how many, 20-something
It didn't.
years?
I honestly thought it was either better or almost better than the first one.
I thought so too. I thought better.
Yeah,
I just
like-
really thought the character development was
Yeah.
there. The plot was fantastic. I loved it.
I did too.
Yeah, I think it should win.
I think it's okay.
And then the category that no one cares about, except maybe the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, Best Motion Picture, Foreign Language. I shouldn't say nobody cares
That's
about.
mean.
I mean, it is horrible.
I know.
It's horrible. People care about it.
People care about you.
Capernaum. I have no comments about these because I've seen.
I
none
know.
of them.
It's like
Girl, Never Look Away, Roma. Roma, we can actually see though. Is that's no. I thought that was one on Netflix, but maybe not.
I don't think so.
No.
I
Do
don't know.
Netflix films get into these?
Yeah.
They do? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoplifters.
Shoplifters.
I'm gonna go with Shoplifters.
You only say that because it's in English.
That's right. Here we go. Best Director for a Motion Picture. Now, see here, they don't break it up. They break up the Best Picture, but they don't. Best Director, they just we could do 5. Okay.
Ralph Breaks the Internet is just Disney. It's not Pixar.
There you go. Either way, Disney wins.
Yeah.
though. Disney because
is just always gonna win.
Yeah, which by the way, they crossed the $7 billion mark at the box office for the second out of 3 years.
Damn.
Like there, and remember that list of 12 movies we talked about a couple of weeks ago
Yeah.
that they've got coming out over the next 12 months? That just they're gonna freaking kill next year's box office.
They're not asking for much.
No. The Mouse House rules. Best Director. This one. This one's gonna be. Bradley Cooper, A Star Is Born.
Of course.
Alfonso Cuarón for Roma. We gotta look. I think Roma's on Netflix. Peter Farrelly, Green Book. Spike Lee, Black Klansman. Adam McKay for Vice. This one's gonna be a tough one. But as I said at the top of the show, I would just run the category and send everybody else home. Bradley Cooper,
Yeah.
Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Give it to him.
It's
I forgot that he directed it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
First
up for
ever.
3 Golden Globes. He is Best Actor, Best Director, and Star Is Born is up for Best Picture, and he's a producer, so it means he gets a trophy too. So
Yeah.
he could get 3 Golden Globes.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
He's gonna just rake it in this
Yeah,
season.
we'll talk Oscars in a couple of weeks from now on a show, but I think he's going to get 2 out of 3 of
Yeah.
because I think he'll be nominated for all 3 of those too: Best Picture, Best
Yeah.
Director, and Best Actor. But I think he's going to take 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a couple of weeks.
Talk
Here,
about-
though, I think he's got a good shot at all 3. I'm just saying, I think he's got a good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Best Director, Motion Picture, and can we just say, the song.
The song.
Shallows is up
Yeah.
also for Best Song, original song for a Golden Globe.
Yeah.
And apparently they're going to perform.
Yeah. That's
But
gonna be epic.
it is.
Don't they have like a special surprise?
They
or something
do. They've
for-
already announced that if it got picked for an Oscar nomination, they have this like epic out of the box, just creative showcase of how they want to sing it, you know, presentation that they're going to do at the Oscars. So they can't I guess they're just going to have to kind of do normal at the Golden Globes because you don't want to blow it for the for the Oscars. And come on, it's going to get nominated.
Yeah.
It got nominated for a Grammy, which we're about to talk about. It got nominated for the Golden Globe.
Yeah.
It's getting nominated for the Oscars.
Yeah.
Talking about Shallows, and we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
Because we're moving to Grammys.
The Grammys.
The Grammy nominations came out the day after the Golden Globe nominations.
Yep.
And they've got some interesting ones too. Album of the Year, Invasion of Privacy, Cardi B.
Yeah.
By the Way, I Forgive You, Brandy Carlisle. Scorpion, Drake. Her, and Beer Bongs and Bentleys, Post Malone. And I mean, God, that's the album that will not die.
I know, right?
I mean,
that album came out forever ago.
like forever ago. Thoughts, Tavia?
I don't listen to any of that.
No offense. Suck.
Because
No
as
offense.
anybody who's a loyal listener to our show knows, Tavia's old school.
Yeah,
I
she
am.
is.
You are.
And it's no offense to those people. I'm not saying that they don't, work hard and have a lot of talent and all that.
All that good stuff.
It's
All that good stuff.
just not my cup of coffee.
Yeah, no,
I understand.
You're right. And the second half of that is, because we're not done yet, Dirty Computer, Janelle Monáe,
I do like
Golden
her.
Hour, Casey Musgraves, and Black Panther, the album, music from and inspired by various artists.
Yep.
I got to tell you, I like that one.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, they had a lot of great songs on the Black
did.
Yeah.
Black Panther soundtrack.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
Mhm.
I mean, I also like Dirty Computer, Janelle.
I do too. I do like her. That's the one artist on the list that I recognize and like.
And she's really talented. Like, she wasn't up for anything acting this year, so she's in the Grammys.
Yeah,
She's singing.
she's like,
She's
might as well
multi-talented.
switch it up.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's great. Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
All right, now.
All right.
All right.
We have
record of the year.
What's the difference between a record and the song of
That's
the
right.
year?
J-Lo and I were talking about this. Record of the year and song of the year. The
I guess
difference.
it's for the whole album.
Nope, because that's album of the year.
Right?
Right? See? Tavia is much like I'm sure a lot of our listeners
Exactly.
are and a lot of people out there. So
What's
let's
the
explain.
point?
Record of the year it includes the artist who performed it and then everybody else who worked on it, including like the sound mixers, the producers, all of the technical people that also were involved in
that makes
making
sense.
the record. So record of the year. And song of the year is awarded to the songwriter, not the performer.
Okay.
So that's the difference between record of the year and song of the year because
Yeah.
it was confusing.
Yeah.
It's like, isn't that the same thing?
Exactly.
But it is not.
It is not.
So, record of the year, which will go to the performer and all of the technical people involved. The nominees are I Like It, Cardi B, Bad Bunny, and J Balvin. The Joke, Brandy Carlisle. This Is America, Childish Gambino. God's Plan, Drake. Drake's going to be like everywhere. Shallow, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. All the Stars, Kendrick Lamar and Ja.
That's the one that's from the Black Panther album.
It is.
Oh.
It is. And Rockstar, Post Malone featuring 21 Savage.
That song will also not die.
Yeah, it will not. It will
Just
not
goes
die.
on and on and on and on, and I hope it's shallow.
I hope so.
Yeah,
too. I hope so
to be
too.
honest.
Shallow.
But I think it might be God's plan because of that challenge and because of all the streams. Remember, it was in the Hot 100 #1 for
Yeah.
like 10
Like,
straight weeks. or
yeah,
some shit
it was like
that.
forever.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like,
yeah,
that's a tough category.
It
I'm
is.
hoping it's Shallow also.
yeah.
Song of the year, All the Stars, Kendrick Duckworth, and I hope I'm saying all these names right. Solana Rowe, Al Schuckenberg, Mark Spears, and Anthony Tiffith are the songwriters. Kendrick Lamar and Za performed it. Booed Up, Lawrence Dobson, Joel James, LMI, and Dijon McFarlane are the songwriters. LMI performed it. God's Plan, Aubrey Graham, Devon, I guess Davian Jackson, Brock Corson, Ron Latour, Matthew Samuels, and Noah Shabib were the songwriters. Drake performed it. In My Blood, Teddy Geiger, Scott Harris, Shawn Mendes, and Jeffrey Wartburn are the songwriters. Shawn Mendes sung it.
That's a good song.
It is. Oh, not done.
There's a lot.
The Joke, Brandy Carlisle, David Cobb, Phil Hansworth, and Tim Hannesroth were the songwriters. Brandy Carlisle, performer. The Middle, Sarah Aarons, Jordan K. Johnson, Stephen Johnson, Marcus Lomax, Kyle Trewartha, Michael Trewartha, and Anton Sazavalsky, songwriter. That's a lot of people to write a song. That is a lot of people writing a song.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
how do you think they go about that? You think they just all sit in a room and just like pick each other's brains and just, hey, I got this, I got this.
I guess.
Like,
I mean, that because I feel like that would be like
it's
troublesome with that
I bet
many
it's a process.
Man, But Zed, Maren Morrison, Gray, performers. Shallow. Lady Gaga, Mark Ronson, Anthony Razamato, and Andrew Wyatt, songwriters. Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper perform. This Is America, Donald Glover and Ludwig Göransson, songwriters. Childish Gambino, performer, who is Donald Glover.
Yep.
That was a shorter one.
Right.
Yeah, right? Because they don't need too many people to write that.
No, yeah. They're just like, it was us two. I don't know. In My Blood was a huge song and played on the radio a lot.
A lot.
But people really gravitated towards This Is America and again Shallow.
I
don't know.
This is gonna be tough. Okay, I think Gambino, who has, by the way, announced he's putting Gambino away.
Yeah,
Donald Glover is just going to be his thing now. He's Childish Gambino going away. I think he's going to have a big Grammy year. I think This Is America and Childish Gambino are going to have a big Grammy year, and I think Shallow, while maybe might win one of them, it's only going to win one and Gambino's going to have it. And I think it's fair because I think they're going to award the shit out of Shallows in all of the other award shows.
Yeah.
So I think that's why the Grammys are going to be like,
agreed.
They'll give it one, I feel like. But
Yeah.
I feel like Gambino, This Is America touched a lot of people.
It did.
It connected. Either whether it pissed you off or you were all for it, connected with a lot of people. It got a lot of play and it got a lot of people talking.
Exactly.
And the Grammys like that.
Exactly.
I mean, they like it. So
Yeah.
and Jimmy Carter up for like another one.
Yeah, look at that.
Like his 22nd Grammy his 11th
insane.
Grammy in 22 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I might have those numbers backwards, but he has been nominated for a spoken word Grammy a shit ton of times over the last decade.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Jimmy Carter.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
New artist.
Yes.
Chloe Exhale. Luke Combs, Greta Van Fleet, Her, Dua Lipa, Margot Price, BB Rexa, and Jorja Smith.
I vote Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She's got a lot of play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see what happens. I haven't heard of any of these people, so I will listen to her first.
Yeah. Well, don't listen to her. Listen to Greta Van Fleet.
Okay. Okay. I will.
I don't know who her is. I don't know. Maybe listen to her.
Her.
Her might be good. I don't know.
I don't know. And is it her or is it HER?
You got me, man.
I mean, it's got periods in between it. Like, clearly, we do not know these people. Our mix of music, if you've listened to the show in the past, is nowhere near this.
Yeah.
But Greta Van Fleet's really good. They basically sound like a mix between like Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, but modern.
Ooh.
So yeah, they're really, really good.
Yeah. That was a really interesting description.
Yeah.
Now I want to listen to that because
Like
what
shit.
does that sound like?
Yeah.
Check it out. The guy sounds a lot like Robert Plant, and he's like 19. And he's got a voice.
Wow.
That's epic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I do know one of them, I have a lot to say.
Yeah, you did. Now she's stepping up. Now she's like, no, I know these people.
When I know that one, yeah.
While I work a lot, I can listen to music.
Bitches.
I drive a lot.
I mean, all right. Oh my gosh, this one.
Now.
Everybody's waiting.
Yes.
Everybody's waiting. What happened? Who's dead? Who's not? Are they really dead? Are they really not? Avengers. Yeah. Avengers Infinity War.
Insane.
The second part. Part 2.
The End Game.
Part 2. The End Game. That's right. End Game. For anybody who didn't know the title, it is Avengers End Game, of which, yes, Doctor Strange told you the title in Avengers Infinity War.
We're in the
End Game now.
I saw a pretty funny thing on Twitter, though. It said, put your last text message as the title. And there were some pretty funny ones.
Oh, yeah.
It was like Avengers 4. They're my kids, too, Janet. You can't keep them from me forever. I was like,
I bet there are some pretty good ones.
Damn.
This trailer, though, the film's trailer, and keep in mind, the film doesn't even come out for like over a year.
Yeah, in April.
But the first trailer's already out because fans were demanding it. They were getting ugly
shitty
with the Russo brothers and with Marvel. Like, where the fuck is the trailer?
Yeah.
Well, they finally released a trailer, and Jesus Christ, it's epic. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, watch it. It's like the most brilliant trailer because it shows you everything and absolutely nothing.
At
It's
the
like the
same
Russo
time.
brothers are brilliant at doing it. Anyway, how in demand is this film? The trailer is the most viewed trailer in history. This is insane to me. 289 million views in the first 24 hours.
Damn.
200
insane.
we broke it down. It's something like 55 times a second.
Yeah.
This trailer was being viewed in the first
Like,
24 hours.
shit.
Like that is insane.
That's a lot of
289 million views
Yeah.
in the first 24 hours.
That's
I don't even know how. What I mean, people want to know what the fuck happened.
Yeah,
Who is
seriously.
dead? Who is alive?
Well, we've seen so many things over social media. Like, people are breaking it down, like, clip by clip.
I mean, like they're hardcore. Is it Steve Rogers who's looking at Peggy's the old photo, or is it Black Widow?
Is Groot alive? Like,
Yeah, is Groot? Oh my God! Yeah, we saw this today. There's a scene in the trailer where Tony is looking out from the spaceship that he's floating to his death in, and he's basically this console that he's like standing in front of, and people notice that the console is made of wood, and if you look up above Tony's head really carefully, you can see Groot.
yeah.
And they're like, is Groot alive?
Like, what the
Groot
hell?
died, but is Groot alive? And I'm like, who the fuck has that much
Yeah,
time
seriously.
to look at that shit in the trailer? But sure enough, I mean, it's there.
Yeah.
Go watch the trailer, pause it, look right there. Groot is there.
Oh my gosh.
Is it Groot, though?
I know.
That's the question. Or is it just another break off
Yeah.
of Groot that, like, who
Right.
knows? I mean,
I cannot
is
wait.
it Groot? Yeah. And then they hint to Pepper becoming Rescue.
Yeah.
I swear to you, if you watch the trailer, there is a reason that Tony says, if you attempt a rescue, because for anybody who doesn't know, in the comic books, Pepper Potts, Mrs. Tony Stark, gets her own armor, not wearing some of Tony's armor, not wearing a like kind of her own armor, and her name is Rescue.
Yeah.
That when she's armored up and being superhero, it's Rescue.
Yeah.
I feel like the Russo brothers, made that perfectly clear. If you somehow were to rescue me,
Like, right
and
there.
he's sending that message to Pepper.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
we've all known,
saying.
they've already showed behind the scenes photos from the film that Pepper suits up in Rescue's armor.
Yeah.
So I would assume she's going to be
Yeah.
called Rescue.
Yeah.
And it would make sense if she rescued Tony.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And freaking Hawkeye not being absent from the last one looks
Completely absent
different
from the last one.
Yeah, he looks completely different now.
Because he's
Ronin?
Spoiler.
Yep.
Yep, Ronin. And anybody familiar with Ronin, he's gonna become Ronin because in the comic books he had a lot of shit go down, a lot of stuff with his family, a lot of misery, and it kind of just forced him into hiding. And when he reemerged, he was Ronin to kind of deal with everything and more comfortable and kind of anyway. I think that the storyline's going to go down that probably, remember, Clint was on hiatus during the first one. He had gone away to deal with some stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the old snap probably eliminated Clint's family, and he's like fucking insane now.
Yeah.
And he's coming back as Ronin.
Yeah.
That's clear. If you see the trailer, he's not Hawkeye, he's Ronin.
Right.
He's got the fucking blades, and he's like pulling
Yeah.
it across, and he pulls it off or whatever.
Yeah, he looks crazy. He really does.
He does. But then we've also seen him in like behind the scenes photos and everything, in new Hawkeye costume
Yeah.
with the mohawk.
Yeah.
So does he like start off as Ronin and then
Right.
revert back to Hawkeye? And then there's also they've said that Catherine Langford from 13 Reasons Why is in this.
Yeah.
And they won't say who she is.
Yeah.
They are keeping this under just absolute wraps. My guess is when I saw him as Ronin, and rumors were that he was going to be Ronin, she was going to be the new Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Because in the comic books, in the Avengers, like they're replaced with people,
Right.
and a female replaced him. And when he came back after his whole Ronin stint or whatever, she's like, well, do I have to give up? And he's like, no, you can be Hawkeye still. There's room for two of us.
Yeah.
So I just think, I'm looking at going through my head because I am a comic geek, all of the characters that Catherine Langford could possibly be playing.
Yeah.
And some rumors had her as because there's going to be a time travel element in this film, which they also kind of hint to. In this film, that she could be Scott's daughter, grown up.
Grown up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Scott, for anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, Ant-Man, Scott Lang.
Yep.
Could be his daughter grown up, but I just really would find it more interesting if they utilize her as a female Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Because we know this is the definitive end of the 10-year run.
Right.
And of the whole thing as we know, hence End Game.
Yeah.
I really think moving forward, if they're going to move forward with a new group of Avengers, it's got to be new people.
Yeah.
Which I'm really hoping Riri takes Iron Man's place. You know, the female Ironheart. I think that would be fantastic. There's so many different ways they could go with this, and they've kind of hinted at all of them. But the reason this trailer is so confusing is because there's already a new Spider-Man filming, and everybody needs to know. But Spider-Man died.
Right,
He was one of the
exactly.
people in the snap, gone. But yet here he is in a sequel. So is this a prequel?
Yeah.
Did this take place before the shit in an Infinity War?
Right.
If not, are they blowing that he survived? I mean, there's so many questions. And then, of course, you got Captain Marvel, which they've announced is a prequel. It does take place in the 90s before Infinity War. But we know at the end of Infinity War, spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it and what the fuck.
Where have you been?
Fury and what's-her-face call Captain Marvel before they disintegrate from the snap. So we know Captain Marvel's coming. We know that's set current time.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's just so much stuff going on, and the Russo brothers are killing us.
Yeah.
Just release this damn.
Stay quiet.
Still editing, by the way. Still editing. And at last count, 3 hours long so far.
Ooh, wow.
They said they're confident that no matter what, by the time it's finished editing, it will be the longest Marvel film in history so far.
Can imagine.
So, I mean,
There's
how
a
do
lot
you
of
wrap
shit happen.
it up?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. How
Wrap
do you
it up
wrap it
10
up?
years,
You want to
yeah.
make it
Perfect.
I'll sit there for 6 hours. I'd watch 6
Exactly. Yeah,
hours.
like,
I mean, just
all of it.
bring me home. I mean, when they said they were going to run a marathon of all 10 years worth of films, I'm
Yeah.
like, I am there. I've got 72 hours to waste.
Like,
do
that's
it. Let's do
fine.
it. I mean, I would sit there and just.
Dustin's like, bust out the adult diapers. I'm
That's right.
good.
ready to
That's right.
stay.
Give me some Depends, some popcorn, and some Dr. Pepper.
I'm good for hours.
Okay, speaking of, we can't do Marvel without doing DC.
That's
we
right.
got to be fair.
Yeah.
DC.
Talking about Aquaman?
Yes, Aquaman. Get this. Aquaman opened in China, which opened a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks before it launches here.
Yeah.
$94 million, making it the top opening ever for a DC adaptation, even beating Wonder Woman.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And they just announced on the today that it's already passed the Justice League's entire run
Oh shit.
in the first week.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of it has to do with their lead actor. I think that was a good choice.
And I gotta be
Momoa.
honest. I hated Aquaman in Justice League.
Yeah.
I don't like the hippie surfer dude kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I didn't like the costume that to me they just tried to make him look like Namor or Submariner from the Marvel
Right,
universe.
yeah.
But make him a surfer dude,
Yeah.
with the but all the stuff I've seen from the new Aquaman movie, they've got him in the classic suit,
In the
the
suit.
green and orange
It looks
suit.
badass.
And he's not as, gnarly dude kind of a guy. He's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I got to become the king of fucking
exactly.
Atlantis and the ruler of the seven seas. And it looks to be, while still having some comedy,
Yeah.
a lot more serious in tone and
Yeah.
action, which is the mix that you need to be successful.
Exactly.
Comedy when you need to have comedy, but have it drama and
Yeah.
action and full of stuff. And it looks
Exactly.
like they've got it.
Yeah.
So
Man, I hope so. That'd be awesome to, start over with those two if this one's
Wonder
successful.
Woman and Aquaman,
Yeah.
because they
And
both
who
look
would have
like-
thought, honestly.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
having-
I was writing Aquaman off like it's going to be an
Yeah.
absolute flop and it's going to even
was
more so
too.
kill the DC
Yeah.
universe movies, but apparently,
Yeah.
I think if you bring in somebody from Game of Thrones, it's kind of hard to go wrong. You know what I mean?
you
Yeah.
know, it's
People loved Khal Drogo. Is that how you said it?
yeah.
Whatever it was. People loved that man.
It's
Yeah.
true.
So-
And well, look, Juan said while he appreciated what was done with the character in Justice League, he wanted to do his own take of it. And so while he maintained some of the stuff not to mess up the continuity of what we saw in Justice, he took it on his own journey and made his own Aquaman. And thank God, because it's working. I'm not gonna lie. Every time they show that trailer and he's in the classic suit, which by the way, He's not riding a giant pink seahorse in that goofy ass suit. It's armor looking with spiked fins on the stuff, and it's badass, and it's all gleaming and shining. And when he throws the trident down in that suit, it looks fucking epic.
Yeah.
So I'm really. They kind of touch on the trailer a little bit about how maybe he was bullied as a kid, and kind of like that plays into who he becomes and all that. I have high hopes for this one, and I'm hoping it does really well.
I do too.
I think it will. Seems like
it's 78% on Rotten Tomatoes
it was
so far.
Like
without
99 or something like that.
And then all of the full reviews came out, and most of the reviews, 9 out of 10. Are all positive and saying great stuff about it. It's got a huge fan rating. I think it's going to do well. Yeah. I think it's going to do well.
I hope so.
So, and then this one. You want to talk about this one?
You
and Lil Cam are big fans of the show.
Yeah, Power. On the set of Power, a crew person was setting up the set, outside of an exterior set. He was setting up some traffic cones, and a random driver drove by and did a hit and run. And it killed the set guy, and they had to shut down production. That's pretty insane. I mean, it's dangerous if you're not wearing, you have to be dressed in bright colors because you have to make sure everybody sees you. But then on the driver's side, why are you driving through probably a closed down street?
See, that's just what I was about to say, because I'm a little confused about how this driver even got in.
Yeah.
Because normally they've got, if it's a scene that's going to be taking place down a street, they've normally got like a 2-block radius
closed
sealed
off.
Where there are production people on every corner, and there are all kinds of, the honey wagons and all of the production people out there, while people are setting up, and while this guy might have been doing cones or whatever, that should have been blocked off. And if it wasn't, then it really leads to questions about what was going on with the production, and are they liable? Like, while that guy was a hit and run, and sure, if they find him, he's going to be... Is the production also liable? Because, I mean, it should have been blocked off.
Yeah.
The last time we were in L.A., they were doing Lethal Weapon. They had a scene going down the street.
Yeah.
And I can tell you 100%, we even got video, maybe we can share during when I'm talking about this, of all the people on the street that are around blocking off the roads.
Yeah.
I don't see how that happens.
It's insane.
And I feel, thoughts and prayers go out to his family. I mean, it's like...
Seriously, everybody on the production. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, got to stay safe. All right, now it is time for our guest segment. Oh my goodness, guys. We are going to have some legendary guests. Our first ever double guest interview, but man, it's going to be a great one.
Yeah, we have got the legendary William Daniels.
Oh my goodness.
And Bonnie Bartlett.
Oof.
This power couple has been acting in Hollywood for more than 6 decades.
Man.
And on top of that, they've been married more than 6 decades.
Yeah.
67 years together as a married couple and in showbiz. That alone is priceless.
Yeah. I love how they just stay relevant throughout the decades.
I mean,
each one.
Right. They pick the most iconic roles. I mean, their roles on St. Elsewhere, everyone remembers. And then, of course, Mr. Feeny, Grace Edwards on Little House on the Prairie, John Adams. I mean, just so many iconic roles you can pick and choose. Kit. We're going to be talking to Kit today. How freaking awesome is that? I mean, I can't wait to call him. So let's just call him. Let's get this going.
Let's do it.
Hello?
Hello, is this Bonnie?
This is Bonnie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. And you're Dustin, like Dustin Hoffman.
Yes. And I'm joined by Logan today.
Yes, Dustin, he's Logan.
And this is Bill.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
First of all, we would like very much to just say thank you for joining us today and doing the interview with us. We're honored to have you both on. Huge fans of both of your work for many, many years. And it's just, we're really excited to be able to have the opportunity to talk to you guys today. Let me just say first, too, also that the response that we got when we said we were having you guys on was just overwhelming. Everybody from Little House on the Prairie fans to Boy Meets World fans to Kit to the St. Elsewhere. It was just all over the map. And so you guys have a huge fan base.
That's lovely. Oh, that's great.
Well,
I'll say hello to all of them.
Oh, absolutely. And let me first, we want to bring this right up because I think just this in itself is an amazing accomplishment, and we want to say congratulations, and we just think it's a wonderful thing. 67 years of marriage.
Yeah.
That's an accomplishment for a couple period, but a couple in show business for 67 years. That's incredible. Congratulations on that.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So we've got to ask, what's the secret? How do you survive 67 years of marriage and 67 years of marriage in show business?
Well, my answer to that remains the same. Mutual respect for each other, for their space, and for their accomplishments. And there's never been between us any jealousy or anything like that. If we're working, we're very happy, or if each one individually is working, that's lovely too. But basically, it's mutual respect.
That can happen in almost any marriage, Bill. But I think the thing about show business is it's a tough bag. It's a very tough bag to begin with, all by yourself. And then it's very hard to manipulate between family and work, and between man and woman. And you're constantly separated, and you're constantly stimulated by other people. I mean, it's
Right.
a little more than in most marriages. You have to kind of work around it. It's hard.
Absolutely. And I love that. I love the point of Bill, when you said if one is working and one isn't, because I feel like that's a lot of the problem in maybe the newer marriages in today's Hollywood, where one might take off and become really successful and the other is resentful of maybe their success, especially when they're both in the industry.
Definitely.
And
That could happen. I think what happens in a lot of marriages, they start out the same, but then say the man takes off. Well, often the woman will say, okay, you take it. I'll stay home. I'll take care of the kids. I'll do that. You take it.
right.
And that's the hard part to manipulate. And then she doesn't, or it could be he, doesn't pursue a career, or maybe she pursues something else. But for both people to be actors, it's a little bit difficult. It's like you have to be able to not always actors always put themselves first, and you have to not do that.
Right.
In a marriage, you just can't do that all the time. So you have to. I mean, I did 10 years almost 10 years when I basically just took care of the kids and stuff. And then he's had times when, right now, for instance, I just came back from a job in Albuquerque, and Bill stayed home, and we didn't like that. I mean, we don't like that when I have to do that. But I'm still able to work a little, and I like to do it.
Right.
Definitely.
He doesn't object.
No, I don't.
One of the things that both Logan and I really were very appreciative of when we were doing the research and getting ready for that, you guys are just the actors. It's not about the fame. It's not about the star. It's not about it's the craft.
Yeah,
And
they
you
really
guys-
appreciate it.
Yeah, well, we have never wanted to. We always started out, we just wanted to make enough money to be able to live and have kids. And we were not star people. We were not people. We were interested in working.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But we have avoided all of that as much as possible. And Bill very definitely left New York because of that. He didn't like that.
Bill, you did a lot of theater and film and television.
If you had to choose, which would you prefer, film, television, or theater?
Oh, I prefer theater for the simple reason that you get an audience there seated, and you can feel their reactions. You can see what joke is working, what isn't working. You can tell when they're absolutely quiet, and you can hear a pin drop that you have their full attention, and there's a sense of power that you get, that you have them in your hands. They're listening to every single thing, and it's a wonderful feeling. You know when something's not working, and you can try something else, if the wrestling keeps on. But I prefer it really to any other form of production.
Absolutely.
But it takes a great deal of energy, and it takes,
Yeah,
Yeah, 8
definitely.
a week is not easy to do.
I bet not. Well, let's talk a little bit about how you got started. I won't say, but reading the book and knowing your backstory a little bit, kind of forced into the industry, correct?
Well, we were put into the industry, my sisters and I, by an ambitious mother.
Mm-hmm.
And we all loved her. I mean, there was no problem there. But she's the one that, that placed us in the industry and saw that we got a good start in it. And for that, I'm always grateful for her. There was a time when I resented it when I was young, but I realized after a while that, I really belong in this business. I'm pretty good at it. So I now look at her with admiration that she was able to place me and my sisters.
But Billy,
In the right
you were
direction.
angry for a long time.
Oh, sure I was.
You were angry.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he don't, when they turn on a commercial and the kids are all performing like that, he says, turn it off. I hate that. He cannot stand to watch kids perform on television.
Oh, wow.
We did.
Especially song and dance.
Yeah, we had a
Cannot
song
bear
and
it.
dance guy, right? So, but that was it was during a difficult time, right? During the Depression.
Yes, it was during the Depression. Yeah, but in those days, in the 30s, kids became very popular as entertainers because you didn't have to pay them, and we never really got paid for most of what we did on the Hone and Heart Children's Hour or things like that. But as my mother always says, it's good experience. It's good experience.
That's right. Well, that
And
goes
that's the way
back
it
to
went.
that goes for it nowadays too. I mean, just to get on set for the experience is amazing.
Yeah, of course. When you're young and starting out, absolutely.
We kind of get a lot of people that feel like they're above that. Like there's a lot of people going out to Hollywood who think they're already stars and aren't willing to
That's
just
right. It's
get
too
on a
bad.
set.
It's too bad.
Yeah, it is. It
Too bad
really is.
they don't realize that. Hey, good luck to them. I'm always happy when somebody's successful. That makes me happy. But that they don't in any way train in any way, whether it's on stage or or a class or something. I don't care how they train, but you gotta learn.
Absolutely.
You're not just suddenly there.
That's correct.
Definitely.
And now that's a great transition. So you both trained with a rather legendary coach, Lee Strasberg.
Right.
And am I correct? I heard that there was actually a point when you were studying with Strasberg that you also were going to therapy. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
very definitely.
wow.
I've had a lot of therapy, and I had a lot of Strasberg, so I had both of them.
So I have to ask you both. Obviously, a lot of legendary names that came through with Strasberg and everything. The one I'm most interested in, I just have to have. Did you ever run into or come Marilyn Monroe? And what was that like, if so?
Well, yes, we did. I mean, she came into Lee's private class the second time I was there. Yeah. Anyway, I was his secretary, and I had to book all the scenes, and I would take the new people, and she was one of the new people, and we saw a lot of her.
You're talking about Marilyn?
Marilyn Monroe. We saw a lot of her at the Strasberg. Marilyn was, she was a terrific girl. She was a nice girl. She wasn't at all like the Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
She created that. That was not her.
That's fantastic. I mean, just the experience
she just
alone.
created that character. We saw a lot of wonderful people at the Strasbergs. One of my favorite things was in the kitchen with Richard Burton.
Oh, yeah.
He told the best stories and had the best voice and was, he was sober because it's the morning, right? We're in the kitchen. So he's sober. And it was just a wonderful morning of him talking in this gorgeous voice and these funny stories, talking about the Welsh mines, because he was from Wales and his family were all miners. And he told all these wonderful stories and all these wonderful accents, and what a treat that was. That was one of my favorite experiences there.
And so Bill, I love your story when you talk about Strasberg as well, about how you went in there and you were the song and dance guy and you were going to do Making Whoopee and you kind of put on this big show and he was having no part of it, right?
Yes, that's right. No, he really took me down a peg, a rather big peg. because I didn't do the exercise that I got up to do that he wanted from us students, to sing a song and stand still and not try to act it or present it or anything. And it was meant to really kind of get you into yourself, your real self on the stage. And of course, I didn't do any of that. I sort of sat on the edge of the stage and sang "Making Whoopee."
Lee was terrible to Bill.
Oh God, he would say, "You know something? I don't know who you are. I wouldn't know what to do with you." Boy, he took me down a peg.
I love the fact that you were able to take the critique and take the criticism and really just redirect your approach as an actor and how you approach the craft.
Well, actually, that's what I did. I never think of it that way, but that's exactly what I did. I dropped all that nonsense and started to take the class seriously and what Lee was talking about seriously. And it changed my whole persona, you might say, on stage. It just changed it, period.
And you don't ever lose, Lee, as Lee would say, you'll always have your sense of comedy. That'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll always have all of the technical things that you do so well. That will always be there. I just want you to go deeper. I just want you to put yourself in there too.
Yeah, that's what he was very, very into. Don't be the character, be yourself to the character. Correct?
Well,
like
be yourself first.
Right.
Yes.
Don't go in, but other people, there are people that go the other way, like Laurence Olivier, who would start from the outside and go in. Some of them were great actors, and that's a wonderful way too if it works for you.
Right.
Some of the English actors are, a guy like John Gielgud, when he started out, was just as phony as he could be in the voice and everything. By the end of his career, he was practically on film. He was practically a method actor because he so much of himself. He just let himself be. He let himself be, and
Absolutely.
he was great in that way too.
I would imagine that because you guys have worked together on numerous occasions, I would imagine that type of approach with bringing a lot of yourself into the roles and into the characters, has that made it, do you find more easy when you work together? I just thought the chemistry on St. Elsewhere was absolutely phenomenal as Dr. Craig and Ellen. I think that you guys were about as believable a married couple on television that I've ever seen, and I have to believe that that's because there was so much of you guys in those characters.
That's true. It's true. Absolutely true.
Thank you for saying that.
And it was so easy.
Oh, you're very welcome. And like I said, it showed. I just thought it was wonderful that the storylines and the writing on that show and the way you guys approached the storylines, you could just tell there was pieces of you in there, that things that you had dealt with, things that you have gone through, and you were bringing personal experience to the characters. And I just think it was amazing.
Yeah, well, thank you. But that's what happened with us. It came after a while very naturally to work that way. You really should, when you, even if you have a character that is far from you, and you happen to look like it or get cast in it for whatever reason, you have to look to yourself to find in yourself what you can use in that character. So there's not completely phony or, put on. There's some of you in every character that you play, plus whatever the character otherwise needs, but there's always a basis of real in it that you bring to it.
One of the good examples that we have right here in this country is, as a matter of fact, is Dustin Hoffman. And he's played some really weird characters.
You're right.
And I don't know that Dusty really knows how he works. Maybe he does. He's never talked about it much. But he just automatically does. But he goes into very weird characters. Now, he's able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful.
That's called talent.
Yeah, that's called talent.
Now, was the first time
He's
that you
one
guys...
of our greatest, I think, character film actors.
My parents thought so. That's why I got my name. But
Yeah.
Was the first time that you guys met him and actually worked with him on The Graduate? Is that when you guys first became acquainted with him?
That's right. It was The Graduate, and he was this actor off Broadway that nobody knew, but Mike Nichols had seen him work off Broadway, and against the objections of Paramount, who wanted Mike to use a big star like Robert Redford, he said, "No, I want this kid." And he was in such a strong position that they had to go along with him because they wanted him very much to direct this play, this script that had kicked around for a while.
Right.
And when he took it, then it was green lighted, and then it became, oh my God! Well, we didn't know it at the time.
Well, he also got Buck Henry involved in that.
Yes, she got Buck involved in writing it, and it turned out very well.
It's amazing. Nobody expected it to be an iconic movie like that. I mean, nobody. Nobody expected that.
Certainly, we didn't expect it as we did it. I mean, it was nice, and Mike was easy to work for. And you see, Mike knew he cast people that he knew could play that part. He knew that being an actor himself, he knew their qualities as a human being, and he knew they would bring those qualities to the parts rather than superimpose some artificial something or other on themselves and try to act that out.
I love how humble you both are about all of your projects. And the Graduate, yeah, it was very good. I mean, it's iconic. It's got to be one of the best films of all time. So I love the humility that you both have. But yeah, it's an outstanding project.
In this business, you better be humble.
I agree.
You better be humble because it's a killer business, and you better be humble. Go in each time and do your best because you never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about the personal life, a little bit about how you guys met in college, and because I heard a couple of fun stories that we definitely want to talk about before we get into all the iconic roles that you guys have had. But you went to college together, right? Northwestern, right?
Right.
And I heard a little story that maybe Bill got a little frisky with you down in the basement while he was trying to help you with your singing. Is that right?
Right. Bill was not fast. Bill was slow, and that was great. That was perfect. But he was showing me how to sing and the diaphragm and so forth. And he suddenly kissed me, and I kind of fell apart. I'd never had that felt like that before. And we got called into the dean's office. The dean of women called me in and said, "Oh, Bonnie, we understand you were down in the basement with this Broadway actor, and are you sure he's bad influence on you and so forth, and maybe I should call your parents," and all this stuff. And I just said, "Thank you very much," and left.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I mean, it was so funny.
Okay, so Bill,
the way things change, when you think of the way things change is so wonderful. That the way things to be called in by the dean of women,
right,
and told that you were necking or making out with a boy, and we better call your parents. How funny is that today?
It really is. It's so charming.
It is so funny.
It really, and so Bill, from what I understand, Bonnie thought you might be a little too short at one point when you asked her out, but you you went for it anyway, right?
Yeah. Well, she had this primitive Moline notion that she shouldn't go out with a boy who isn't taller than she. And I came in exactly the same height as her, but she said no to me at first, and she said, "You're too short." But that was the end of that. I said, "Come on, let's have a cup of coffee."
There you go. Yeah, as a fellow 5'7" guy, I applaud you, sir. Well done. we got to stick to our guns there, right?
That's right.
Bill was very sure of himself, so it didn't bother him. Somebody else, it could have really destroyed.
Absolutely.
He was so sure of himself, and the only thing he's never been unhappy. The only thing he always said is, if I were taller, I'd be a leading man. And I guess that's true. I don't know.
I
If
think
you wanted to be a leading man,
yeah, I think he's done pretty well though.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
So, okay, let's get into it because Logan and I are just, obviously we're from different generations. I'm a little bit older than Logan, so we've kind of got your guys' whole career span covered here, I think. But the iconic roles that you guys have had, Bonnie, I have to tell you, when my mother and my sister found out, I was a big fan of Little House on the Prairie, but when my mother and my sister found out we were talking to you, they just lost it. They were extremely excited. They're like, Grace, are you kidding, Mrs. Edwards? And I'm like, yes, that's right. And
that was a lovely show.
It was
show
fantastic.
To work on, and a lovely part. I love parts like that. I kind of play my aunts and my, relatives that have talked to me about the past. And, I love it. Put a long skirt on and put my hair up. I'm in heaven.
Well, and Mr. Edwards was just a kooky character,
fun.
that Victor French brought. What was that like, working with Victor?
Oh, he's just fun. He and Michael were just fun all the time. With me, anyway. They just teased me, and they liked me. I liked them. I sometimes had something to say about a scene, and not often, but sometimes, and they'd listen and say, "Okay, you're right."
Fantastic. Well, and you've had a couple instances like that on Twins, right? Like you had a lot to do with the character development of that character. Like there was.
I did, but that's because Ivan Reitman allowed me to. Another director might not have done that, but Ivan, I didn't like the part. I didn't like the script, and I didn't understand anything about. I didn't get it, I didn't get it with the reading. And I just didn't think it was very good. And so I quit, and then he called me in and said, actually, my agent made me go and talk to him. And he said, "What's the matter?" I said, "Well, I'll tell you what." He said, "Well, what's wrong with the cat?" I said, "Well, look, you don't have this, you don't have that. She doesn't do this. She's not there. She's not written. She's nothing." And he said, and I went through each scene and said, "See here." And he said, "Well, I can't make you do this part, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to use everything you've told me to say." Well,
then,
of course.
Yeah, then of course you got to do it.
You're not going to turn that down.
Right.
But only because Ivan let me do it. I mean, a lot of directors would never do that.
No, but I applaud the courage that you had to go to him and say, "Hey, look, this just isn't right. This is no good. And if I'm going to do it, I want to do this." And I mean, because a lot of actors won't do that. They'll just go with the role even though they know it's not right or it's not working, and they're too scared. Yeah, I think it was both of y'all that he was this way and you were that way, and it's fantastic.
So if I know a better way to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do something that I know isn't right.
Absolutely. So I've already talked about St. Elsewhere a little bit, and I was a huge fan of the show and everything. But so now Logan and I are gonna get into the generations here a little bit. But Bill, I'm not gonna lie, huge fan of Knight Rider. I loved the show. I liked when they did the reboot. I liked the TV movie. I just a huge fan of the show, and it's a great story that I've heard you tell before. So I hope we can get you to tell the listeners about. You weren't even sure it was a good idea. You were like, "You want me to do what?" And so if you want to talk about that a little bit, I'd love that.
That's right. A car that talks? I thought that was pretty ridiculous. But they wanted me to do it, and I was doing St. Elsewhere at the time. Anyway, I did it, and it turned out very well. The thing is that I would just go into a studio and record it for about 50 minutes. I'd knock off an hour show. It was easy, but I was surprised when they put it together with David Hasselhoff, who, when I met him at the Christmas party, that's the first time I ever met him, and he said, "I don't know how this works with you and me." He said, the script girl reads your part, and I answer it the way I think I should. And I said, "Well, I was doing the same thing, I tried to make the part the way I thought you might answer me. If it was excited, I'd raise my voice a little bit. If it was not, I wouldn't." And he said it all went together. And I said, "Yes, it did."
Absolutely. Yeah, I was shocked when I first heard that you had never actually met any of the cast or anybody from the show. Yeah, that's amazing. So I'd say it did go over pretty well. And you recently just readdressed the role, correct? Didn't you record something recently for a Melissa McCarthy project?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, it was voiceover. It was very brief, really.
It'll be released next year, that film.
Awesome. That's got to be fun though to keep to be able to keep going back to that and having people recognize. I said it myself. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna be literally talking to Kit.
Right.
Like it's just it's such an iconic role. And speaking of
Billy,
iconic
tell the
roles,
story about England.
We went over to England. What were we doing over in England?
We were because
Bonnie?
of St. Elsewhere. We were over there because of St. Elsewhere.
So we were at this signing, and I was seated at a table and had my pen ready, and they'd come in, and I would autograph their book or their script or just a piece of paper. And he was in his middle 30s, I would say. He was very polite, As I was signing it, he said, "Sir, may I ask, where are you in the car when you do the show?" And I looked up at him. I thought he was kidding. And I said, "You mean, am I under the hood or in the trunk?" He said, "Yeah." And I thought, oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
oh my goodness.
And then I said, "Well, no, actually, I go into a studio and I record it." And he said, "Oh," and he kind of left kind of disappointedly.
Oh my
I
goodness.
think he was let down.
Yeah, isn't it amazing though what people think, who don't
Oh, I
understand
know.
the industry?
It's incredible. Where did he think I was? I mean, they filmed the car. They filmed the whole car.
Right.
I wasn't in the back seat. I wasn't in the driver's seat or anything.
No.
So he figured I must have been in the trunk.
Right.
A very great movie called The Wizard of Oz
Yes.
captures that.
Definitely.
Oh,
Frank,
absolutely.
whatever his name was. Oh, God, he was funny.
Bill was definitely the man behind the curtain, right? So to say.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
All right, now to show the little age gap here, I learned so many life lessons from Mr. Feeny.
The name Feeny to me sounded a little like they were going to make a comic character out of this, and of course, Michael Jacobs assured me that was not going to happen, and it didn't happen. He wrote a very respectable teacher, and I was very glad that worked out that way, that he did what he promised, and I felt better about the show, and I felt I didn't want to make fun of a teacher, and they never did, and he became kind of an iconic character, and I was very pleased with that.
The people that have responded to that show,
Yeah.
kind of amazing.
Yes.
It's really popular culture at its highest
It
form.
absolutely is, and I'll tell you what's even more amazing about it. It spans generations.
Yeah.
Like there's a 20-something year age difference between myself and Logan, and yet we're both huge fans of the show.
Yeah.
My daughter's a huge fan of the show, and I think it's rare that you get a project that can span so many generations and have the longevity that show has had.
Yeah.
And I think
I
that's
agree. It's amazing.
Right.
I heard a wonderful story too, and if we could talk about this a little bit, when you were actually filming in the room where John Quincy Adams died, they actually opened access to you guys and were able to fill there, and you were kind of going through. You were just coming off of surgery yourself and not feeling too well. What was that like?
I had appendicitis, and there I was sitting in that chair that he sat in, and as a matter of fact, that he died in. That he stood up and made a pronouncement and just went back in his chair and died.
You know what he did? He got on a plane knowing that he had appendicitis and flew back to California because he wanted the surgeon here to do it. And we met him at the plane and took him right to the hospital.
Oh, my
goodness.
That was the dumbest thing you've ever done. But it turned out okay. But
Yes.
You don't do that. You don't get
do
on
a
a plane
5-hour plane flight with
when you have appendicitis.
No, I can't imagine. You've had the luxury of playing both John Adams and John Quincy Adams, and to be in that room and have access to it must have just been powerful. I would imagine.
Oh, it was marvelous. It really was. You were there. in the old Senate room. They opened it up for us, and it had a lot to do with put you in the mood.
Wow.
And he was a terrific man. He didn't have a great presidency, but we both learned a lot about him.
Yes.
And he was quite brilliant man.
Yes, he was.
Right, you guys have the letters, right? You have a collection of the books and the letters and all the works of the Addams family, right?
Yes.
Yes, but only after Bill played the part.
Yes, a lot of people sent me all kinds of books and articles and things like that. It was incredible.
The performance was incredible, and I to the credit of that, I know in several appearances in different projects, they would actually make reference to, include lines of in I guess in homage to your performance in 1776. So I mean that's a huge credit to your performance in the role.
I agree.
Both of you have been lucky enough to have these roles that just span the generations and are able to connect with so many people. And that's a huge credit to you, I think, as people and for your craft and your skill.
Well, thank you. My goodness.
Yes,
You're welcome.
Have you read Bill's book? He's written a very good book, and it's very good. Now, I'm writing a book slightly different. Bill's book is all about his career and all of the different things he's done, which have been amazing.
Right.
He's had an amazing career. Mine is a little more personal, and it'll be out next year, and it's a little different.
Fantastic. Well, I tell you what, we'll have to have you back on to talk about that when it comes out. So we do have a lot of listeners, a huge listener base of people that are trying to get into the industry and kind of make it. So we always like to ask our guests some advice that they would give to what to do and what not to do, maybe some things to avoid for people trying to get into the industry. And I can't think of two better people who've had such an amazing career over such a long time to give advice. So what would you guys say to someone trying to get into the industry nowadays, be it television or film or stage? What do you think are some of the pitfalls they should look out for and some of the things they should absolutely do?
Well, I've always said to that question that what you do, if you want to be an actor, act wherever you can. I don't care if it's in somebody's living room, which I've done, or off-Broadway or wherever. But you have to work. You have to get on your feet and do it. You can't theorize about it. Just find any opportunity that you can to act, and that's the way you learn.
And if you are lucky enough to make some money, save it.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to go on forever. You have to save it. I mean, not all of it, but you have to. My mother used to call pay yourself first. In other words, you take a chunk of everything you make and you put it aside. From then you pay your bills.
I think that's wonderful advice because
yeah.
I think in this industry, we know, there can be significant stretches where you go without work, and if you haven't paid yourself first, you're going to be in trouble. Mm-hmm. So
that's right. That's right.
And so, what do you guys have coming up? I know you have the book. You're working on the book, Bonnie, and you just did recently some Better Call Saul episodes, correct?
I did. I was on the last 2 episodes, I think, of the 3rd season.
Oh, nice.
But I just went back to Albuquerque. I just did a part in a half-hour comedy pilot for Amazon. It's for Amazon.
Outstanding.
Nice.
Very unusual pilot. Don't ask me what it's about. I think it's like people who don't do anything.
Yeah.
And I play I play a grandma, of course. But my grandson is really something. I mean, he's out of space somewhere.
Oh my goodness! Well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that.
Definitely.
And boy, Albuquerque.
I hope it sells.
Oh, I'm sure it'll at least get 1 season on Amazon. That whole streaming thing has just opened up all kinds of opportunities, I think.
It has. Yeah.
And Albuquerque also, it's kind of booming now, right? So, I mean, Netflix has made a move out there.
And Netflix just bought a couple of studios.
Exactly. So always interesting. And what about you, Bill? What do you have coming up, or what do you have going on?
Not much.
He doesn't want to do too much, and he really doesn't. He really wants to just back off.
I got to tell you, I think it's well earned.
Yeah.
I think you've earned a little rest. Well, I tell you what, you guys have just been absolutely wonderful. I can't express to you how honored we are to have you both on the show and join us today. It's been incredible. You much respect to you guys as both actors and your skill and your trade and what you do, but more so as people and your successful marriage and you as parents and what you do for the people that you inspire. The amount of people I think that you've inspired over the years and continue to inspire, that's hard to do. And I think you guys are just wonderful. And we are so honored that you came on and talked to us.
Well, my goodness, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, best of luck with the book. I can't wait to read it, Bonnie. And Bill, I loved yours. It's fantastic. We're going to send everybody to make sure that everybody gets it.
Yes.
And Bonnie, you'll definitely have to come back on if the Amazon thing gets picked up because we'd love to talk to you about that.
Okay. All righty.
Okay, so can we send it off with Bill? How would you end the show as Mr.
Well,
Feeny?
Believe, work hard, do your best, or something like that.
It doesn't get any better than that, sir.
Exactly.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
Again, thank you all both so much.
Okay.
Take care
Thank
now.
you.
Wow, that was amazing. Legends, man.
Legends. Oh my God.
Yeah, so many stories, so many. We didn't even touch on him being the president of the Actors Guild.
Right, the Screen Actors Guild.
Yeah.
Because they've done so
Exactly.
much. I mean, and I think, though, my favorite part about just the whole conversation is you can just tell how much they adore and respect each other.
Seriously.
The back and
No matter
forth
what.
compliments,
Yeah.
and even when they're kind of poking jabs at each
Yeah.
other, you can tell it's just so endearing.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's how you make 67
Exactly.
years. That's how
I
you do
love the basement story.
Oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
And I love it. Oh yeah, he showed me the diaphragm. Is that what he was doing? The diaphragm? Okay.
Yeah. But yes, thank you guys. Oh my goodness.
gosh.
All right, now it is time for the one and only Jeremy Gordon coming on the show, man. Casting director on stuff like We Are the Millers, We Bought a Zoo, and our favorite, America 2.0.
Absolutely, man. Had the great pleasure of meeting him out in LA the last time we were out there for the America 2.0 event. So this is going to be exciting.
Hell yeah.
All right. Jeremy Gordon, what's up, man?
How you guys doing?
Oh, dude, we're doing awesome. Living the dream, man. Living
Hell
the dream.
yeah.
Aren't we all?
Absolutely, bro. Welcome inside the Crazy Ant Farm, man. It's been a while since we've seen you. We're excited to have you in.
Absolutely. I'm excited to be here. Thanks so much.
Oh, man. First of all,
course.
let us say thank you. It's me and Logan, by the way, tonight. Me and Logan. And we just want to say, first of all, thank you and everybody else associated with America 2.0 for having us out in California to the America 2.0 event. We had an absolute blast hanging out with you guys.
Hell
huge
yeah.
fans of the project, huge fans of all of y'all, and we just wanted to thank you again for having us out there, man.
Yeah, of course. We so appreciate the long journey you took to join us. It was a great event, and we're glad you guys were there.
Definitely,
Of
man. Wouldn't
course.
have missed it. Wouldn't have missed it. So what's up, my friend? You have been a busy man. I have to imagine casting is we have so many questions for you. We have a lot of listeners that are trying to get into the industry, a lot of people that want to be an actor. So we have this like insight now with a casting director to get the inside scoop.
Hell yeah.
How do you go
Well,
about
feel
it?
free to ask questions. I'm happy to tell you what I can, answer some questions. And unfortunately, I will sadden people by telling actors there's no real magic.
Right.
No magic answer, no magic button.
Yeah.
But happy to answer questions, and we'll chat.
All right, awesome. Well, first, let's talk about you a little bit. Was the entertainment industry always something that you kind of wanted to do? Did you know from an early age, this is for me, this is what I want? And if not, where were you going and how did you fall into it? And if yes, was it always the casting side of it or the behind the scenes, or did you have ambitions in front of the camera? Let's talk about you a little bit. How'd you get started?
Well, from an early age, I wanted to be an actor. And I went to college to study acting. I went to Syracuse.
Yes, I'm from the Cuse. Yes.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah, born and raised.
Amazing. Yeah, that's where I went to college. Loved every minute of it.
Fantastic. He's an orange man. I'm already sold.
All right. So yeah, I studied acting and came to California wanting to be an actor, but was easily convinced in less than a year that acting was not what I wanted to do at all. Just that life was just not for me, and I think being in front of the camera was something I just realized was also not for me.
Mm.
That's interesting. So, how did you decide to take the leap, though? You go, you study, you want to be an actor, and then because I think a lot of people that we hear from are, and maybe that you can kind of talk to this on both for yourself and as a casting director. We have so many people who are just terrified to take the leap out to LA
Yeah.
to try to do it. What would you say to them? What made you or inspired you or gave you the courage to make the jump out there? And what would you say to people who are maybe scared to do it?
What gave me the courage? I don't know if it was really a question. It was what was going to happen. I mean, I was going to college to study acting, to go to LA to be an actor. I don't know if there was ever another conversation. I wasn't going to study acting and then go to Minnesota or Boston or
Right.
somewhere else, especially at that time before there were other places you could really go.
Exactly.
It was going to LA. So it was never not a conversation. But I think also in my life, that's sort of how I treat everything. You just go for it. I don't really
Hell yeah.
hold back with things. Otherwise, if you don't take those risks, you're not going to get those benefits. So it was always something I was going to do. And I came out here, and when I decided it wasn't for me, I quickly moved to teaching because the people in my family were teachers.
Okay.
So I went and got a master's in education, and I was a school teacher for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Before even the thought of getting back into the industry and casting came to be. And I was just in the right place at the right time. And someone offered me an opportunity to try my hand at casting while I was teaching. And I fell in love with it and realized that's what I was supposed to do. That's what I was supposed to be. And that's why I studied acting, so that I could be a better casting director and sort of speak the language, so they say.
Yeah. I love that. I love that story about how you just kind of fell into and it was meant to be, and that's why you did what you did. And I mean, sometimes that's just it, right? You take the leap, you have faith, and it works out because it's meant to happen. I feel like,
that's right.
that's fantastic. So, okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. In the right place, in the right time. So how did you start to get into the whole casting process, and how does that work? I mean, how do you even get involved in casting?
Well, I was hired by a producer I know to cast some horror films. These were, low-budget, campy horror films.
Right.
I didn't really know what I was doing, but sort of made it up as I went along, and I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes. And then went and got jobs with other casting directors so I could learn how to do it for real. And just sort of went from there. It was sort of learning on the job. I did not do the traditional route of starting as an intern or a casting assistant. I started as a casting director and then sort of backtracked to an associate, but never really did the whole route that a lot of people take, which can be very time-consuming, and I guess I was lucky that way. That's how I sort of skipped a few steps by knowing a few people, I suppose.
Awesome. Always helps. Always helps to know
definitely.
people.
Yeah, right.
So for the listeners out there, what's the difference between the casting director and a casting associate? Like what are the duties for each there?
Well, it sort of depends on the office. I mean, obviously it's a title thing, but at the end of the day, everything is the casting director's responsibility, and the associate works for the casting director. I've been very lucky in the offices that I've worked in as an associate to be given a lot of responsibility. So it's a lot of us just doing everything together. The associate is usually involved with most of the steps of the process, but legally, I guess the casting director closes the deals and does everything official. But it's just sort of a team effort, and it's the next step before you become the casting director.
So now, what do you guys go through? Demo reels? Do you have files of people that you think might be? What's the approach when you're looking to cast a film or a TV show? How do you even start out? Does the producer and the director come to you and say, "I have these people in mind," or "these type people in mind," and they give you this list, or do you have a lot of say in which people you have, or how does that whole process work?
Sort of a combination of everything. Directors and producers have people that they're interested in, whether they're very specific people or specific types, and we have our sort of mental Rolodexes, or I don't know if people still keep actual files on actors, but
right.
We from past projects we have lists of actors that we like. And we speak to agents and managers, and they pitch clients, and we go through the clients that they submit, and it's a lot of looking at demo reels or self-tapes, or just calling in actors that we don't know that we want to meet for a specific project, and having them come in and audition and see how it goes. We call in actors that we do know that have auditioned for us before. So it's sort of a combination of everything.
Awesome. And now, are you guys the ones who do the cattle calls also? I mean, do you do cold reads and find people that way as well?
No. Cattle calls is, I don't know if that's something from the past or more for theater, perhaps. I don't know. We don't do that for film and TV. You have to have an actual audition, an appointment through your agent or manager. It's not just, just come between this time and this time if you'd like to. So we don't do that, although I guess I can't speak for every casting director, but that's not how I've ever done it.
No, and that's good information to know, because I think that's the general idea that you see in so many different things that, oh no, look, it's an open call. You can just show up and make this cold read and get a part. And I think a lot of people are disillusioned by that and think that that's the way it really works. So it's good to hear that it's not like that. You do have to come out there and get a manager, get an agent, and actually kind of get the booking done that way.
And it's time consuming. I mean, people come to LA. I often hear from actors, "Oh, I'm coming for 2 months. I'm coming for 2 weeks. I'm coming for pilot season." And they expect to have a certain amount of success. And what they don't realize is you can't just step off the plane in LA and start getting auditions. Literally takes years for actors to do the legwork, to make the connections and start meeting people before they'll even get an agent or manager and start getting bigger auditions for bigger projects. But,
right.
We're talking years.
Yeah, and that's important. That's another important point. I think that it's work. You don't just go out there and become an overnight success.
Exactly.
You got to put work into it. You got to be committed. You got to be able to ride it when it's not happening and not get discouraged. And I think that's important for people to know.
That's right.
So, what do you look for? Like when you go to cast a project, what are you looking for specifically, coming from your standpoint, when you're going to cast a role? Is it a combination of raw talent? Is it they fit the part physically and can act? Or what are the priorities that you list off in order of when you're going to cast a role?
There really is no cut and dry. It's definitely a combination of everything, and it depends on the project. If you're casting someone who needs to look like a specific person from history, but really it's, do you look the part? Do we believe you in this part? And what do we see in the audition? There's, a lot of actors that look the part that just, they don't feel it. They don't feel the right age, or it's not the right vibe, or they just didn't sell it in their audition. Great actors sometimes have terrible auditions, and it really is a combination of everything. It's very subjective. It's how we feel about that actor at a given moment in time.
Right.
It's very hard to just pinpoint any specific thing, but it's all very subjective.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. Now, when you make a decision, how does the whole process go down? Is that when you say, okay, we want this person, now we'd like another person to read with them to maybe see if they... Because I would assume chemistry has a lot to do with it when you start casting people together, correct?
Yes, depending on the project. There's not always a chemistry read, but it depends on the project and the roles. Some projects will have specific actors chemistry reading together to see if they work together, but it doesn't always work that way. And sometimes actors show up on set and they have a husband or a wife or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and they've never met before, and there just has to be chemistry.
Absolutely. Now, is your approach different when you approach television and film, or pretty much the same with when you go to cast it?
I guess same idea. Television is a much faster-paced beast. I mean, the show shoots when the show shoots every 8 days, 10 days, whatever it is. You have a shorter amount of time to cast a specific episode, whereas a movie, you can sometimes be on the same film for months and months and really be able to take your time. So same idea, just sort of a different speed in the process.
Do you have a one or the other that you like more?
Not necessarily. I used to think that I was more a movie guy, but having worked on more TV now, there's pros and cons to both. I mean, TV, you get to see your work so quickly. If you're working on a series that's currently airing, you get to see your work every few weeks. There's another episode that you cast. Yeah, it sort of just depends on the project.
Awesome. So when you cast for a television series and say it is a series and not just like a mini series or a one shot, you stay on. You cast throughout the season?
Yes. Usually it's the entire season. I'm currently doing Cloak and Dagger, and we've been on since August, and we're on. I think it's into sometime into February.
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, first of all, I'm jealous as all get out because I'm a huge comic book nerd since birth, and the fact that you do Cloak and Dagger, and I saw on the resume the Wolverine, and I'm just like, this guy, I just want to be him for a day. Like, we had Wayne Perry on as a guest, and he was fantastic. You know, he's been on Cloak and Dagger and in Venom and different things. We're not going to ask you too much because we know the limo will come up and take you out, and we don't want that. Marvel's pretty tight with about how they handle their stuff. So, congratulations on that, though. I mean, Marvel is like the big thing right now, and the fact that you're involved in the whole MCU and Marvel Studios and all of that little family, that's impressive, man. I got to tell you, that's an impressive thing right now. The Mouse House seems to be kicking some serious ass out there.
I appreciate it. It's actually a lot of fun working on this show, and they're a great group to work with.
I bet. So we got to ask, because as we mentioned, we're huge fans of America 2.0.
Yes.
I just thought the entire concept was, I mean, I had heard of the old, unfortunately, I'm old enough, not that old, but old enough to have known what a radio serial is. And, J-Lo thought it was Fruit Loops, but
whatever.
Just kidding. But, so I'm familiar with the format, but the idea of this serialized podcast was really interesting to me. And the cast that you were able to pull together for this was just freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, it's and we say it all the time. We tag it all the time, but I mean, it's true. It's the hottest podcast in the country and really the world right now. You guys are in the top 10 in almost every format that you can listen to a podcast on, all over the world. And for anybody who's been living under a rock and doesn't know, this man right here, Jeremy Gordon, pulled together. And we could talk about that if you had some assistance, if it was all you, and take all the credit. No, I'm just kidding. But a phenomenal cast. Patrick J. Adams from Suits, Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix. You've got Kate Walsh and Shanola Hampton from Shameless. Oh my gosh, who else? Ming-Na Wah and Autumn Reeser and Spencer Garrett and just like all these amazing people. And I'm like, how does anyone start to even pull that type of a cast together? Yeah. How does that happen?
Well, it's definitely a team effort. In casting, it's never something we can take all the credit for. It's a team effort. It depends who comes up with the idea. A lot of these were personal connections, calling in favors, but the material was amazing enough that we could get attention from actors of this caliber who wanted to be involved with it. And in fact, we had other actors that we just didn't have enough roles for who wanted to be part of this.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's definitely a team effort. Spencer Garrett knows a lot of people. He's one of the most well-connected people I would say I've ever met.
Yeah.
So
he was working the room for sure out when we were there at the American 2.0. That guy knows his stuff for sure. And just a great guy. I mean, all of y'all, let me first say that. I'm sure that a lot of people involved in working on this project were happy to work because all of you involved in the making of this project and then behind the scenes of it are just the greatest people, man. You guys really love what you do. You have passion for it, and that shows. So that's got to help when you're trying to attract people onto the project as well.
Oh, absolutely. Look, they read the script. If you can sell it to them on the phone, they read the material that they like it. They usually sit down with the director. And, by that point, the people that we were speaking to were very specific, and we wanted these specific people who liked the material and then, selling it to them by sitting down with them. It was a great experience. We sort of all are still a little dumbfounded at the cast that we got, and we're so happy and so lucky. And everyone just worked really well together, and it worked out really well.
Yeah, and for a lot of people who, like I said, were living under a rock, not familiar with the story, it's a political drama. And it's this idea of a first-term congressman who decides that he's going to run for president, and his platform and premise is to basically fix the economy and start to fix the country by offering everybody in the country $1 million, every citizen in the country $1 million. But the brilliance of this show, and I always like to say, I compared it like if I was doing my elevator pitch, it was like the West Wing meets the newsroom. I thought it was absolutely brilliant the way it was written. I think it highlighted, no matter what side you fall politically, I thought it was fair. It represented, I thought, both the right and the left very fairly, while our main character is to the left and a liberal. I felt like it balanced it very well. And I think that's one of the reasons why it was so successful, because I think that's what we're lacking right now is civility and being able to listen to the other side and realize there's more in common than not. And if we could just sit down and actually talk, and I think this podcast and this show did that. It gave you an opportunity to sit down and rationally listen to each side, and it did it creatively and in a way that was entertaining. And I think that's why it was one of the reasons it was so successful and took off the way it did, honestly, man.
I have to agree. One of the things that attracted me to the project was, I don't want to give too much away about the series if people haven't heard it yet, but it really is representative of both sides, and we didn't want to bash anybody. We wanted people to take a look at politics in a positive way, and hopefully we can get there for real again.
Absolutely, absolutely, and like I said, it was brilliantly done. It's fantastic script by David Carlisle and J.S. Mayank, and it's a nice little twist. We're not going to give it away for people who haven't heard it, but I thought it was creative in the way they did things. And we're hoping, I really like too, that we learned that it was actually approached as a TV show, correct? I mean, the goal was to actually try to make it a television pilot, and then you guys decided to break it up and do this approach in the podcast, right?
Yeah, so it was originally given to me as a pilot script, and when I suggested to JS that we have a table read so we can hear it out loud, it was sort of there that the idea of making this pilot script into a 6-episode podcast was born, because usually waiting for a pilot to ever get made and turned into a series is so time-consuming and difficult and impossible. We thought we can give this to the public on our own terms and make this into something, and from that, people will know what it is, and then perhaps the road to turning it into a series might be a little easier.
Right. Well, I'm hoping so. I mean, it's obviously, like I said, the hottest thing in the country as far as podcasts go right now, and it has gotten a lot of attention from a lot of major people. So I'm hoping so. I think the majority of the people I know that have listened to it, and a lot of our fans that listen to our podcast, they want a TV series. So I'm hoping it works for you guys. I'm hoping you can get it.
Me too. You guys will be one of the first to know when there's something that we can share.
Absolutely.
We'll be telling everybody. Don't you worry.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
can't wait. Fingers crossed, man. I'm really hoping that works out. Table read, bringing up that is that a standard thing, or are there just certain projects you want to hear out loud when you try to cast it that you do? How familiar or how normal is that process of a table read before it's greenlit?
After you cast the project,
right?
To bring your cast together and hear the specific people in their roles reading it together. It's not something that's usually done ahead of time, but this was a script that I loved so much, and having already had worked with JF before, something I wanted to do for him so he can hear the words out loud, and it was really special to be sitting there listening to it out loud and watching these light bulbs go off in his head.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Like I said, we were lucky enough to be out there for the event, and you could just see the passion on all y'all's faces when you guys are talking about it. And the cast is, and of course, Jack Coleman. You know, I so many people keep popping in my head that this cast is just insane.
Yeah.
So, congratulations on all of the success for that, man. And like I said, fingers crossed that the series works out and that we get to see that. So we talked briefly a little bit about what you do as a casting director and everything. Now, maybe for the fans who don't know, or for the listeners who don't know, do you have a company that you work for? Are you hired by studios or individual projects or freelance? Why don't you explain a little bit about how you go about that?
Yeah, so I freelance. I have my own company, Jeremy Gordon Casting, very special name. But I freelance, and I work either for studios or networks or other casting directors. I have a production company with Spencer Garrett for more of our producing arm called Garrett Gordon Productions. But in terms of casting, it's just very freelance. I don't work with one place forever. It's just different projects, different times. So Cloak and Dagger is now. Pilot season will be something different. And it's sort of just an ever-evolving, ever-changing job scene for me, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, the constant pace and the change and the things. Yeah, I would imagine pilot season has just got to be this behemoth of an undertaking when it comes to casting, though, right? I mean, do you find when that comes up, are you casting several different series at once? Are you bouncing around? Are you focused on one or two, or how does that? I mean, because casting season.
Usually, pilots, you're just on one. I guess there are some big offices that may have a few pilots if they have a bunch of casting directors in the office, but I usually work on one pilot, and it's incredibly fast-paced and stressful and crazy long hours. It's a few months of pilot season hell, and then it's over. But yeah, it's pretty intense.
I can only imagine. So let's talk. The industry is kind of like going through a little change. I think it evolves every day, really. But as a casting director, how do you feel about this movement towards cutting the cord and the streaming and the binge watching and like the idea of pushing out all your series all at once for people to be able to watch and moving away more from the network type, standard of doing? Are you happy with that? Do you like that? Do you like the direction that it's all kind of moving in?
I do like it. First of all, it's happening, so why fight it? But I like it. I think it's time for a major shift in how everything works in the industry, and why not this way? I mean, I like that I can hop online and watch an entire season of a show when I feel like it. I sort of like that, and I find that I enjoy some shows more being able to just keep watching as opposed to 22 episodes over 9 months.
Right, absolutely. And you have an interesting point of view because you do both film and television. Do you buy the idea that movies that are being made for like Netflix and Amazon are killing the box office, and or this fight between should they be theatrically released before they're on there? Well, I mean, what's your thought process on that? What do you? I mean, there's got to be. I feel there's got to be a way where both can work.
Yeah,
it should
I don't
be.
know what the battle is. If people are making movies specifically for Netflix or Hulu, then they're not being made for the big screen. So I don't know what the battle is. I mean, you make film, you make a theatrical release film, or you make a film for TV. There's plenty of made for TV movies. It's just made for different platforms. So yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all.
It's an interesting take because you see this argument all the time about how they want their films to have Oscar contention, but they've got to have a release for a period of time to qualify, but they want it. That being said, they want it directly on Netflix or directly on Amazon. I don't know. I find the whole thing kind of interesting, but I'm with you. I mean, I think if you're going to make a theatrical type film, it should be a theatrical release. I mean, it shouldn't be an issue of where it's going to go. I agree with you on that. And so we've got a couple of other big things going on in the industry, and I would think that both affect you and what you do in a big way, and that's the Me Too movement and social media. So let's, if you don't mind, talk about both of those for a little bit. Have you seen a change in the industry in the way you approach casting with the current movement going on? Is it a wave that's made things more difficult or maybe more easy now that things have been brought out to the forefront and the way it's kind of playing out as someone who's responsible for casting roles and seeing the interaction of people? How has that affected what you do, if it has?
It's not affected me at all because I've never had any issues treating actors with respect, so it really has not changed for me. I haven't changed my approach in how I speak with actors or what we do in the audition room, so no, it hasn't changed. I guess sure, in my mind is always making sure that you're treating actors with respect, but that's always been something for me, so it hasn't really affected me personally in my casting rooms. But I guess overall I would think that there's definitely a sense from above, from the studios and networks. There's definitely more paperwork and more conversations about actors and what is okay, but personally it has not sort of creeped into my offices.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. And that it hasn't affected too much, because I mean, we've had a couple people on say it the other way, that they've gotten cautious with the way they approach auditioning. So I was just wondering how, on the flip side of that, if it had changed with maybe how you approach taking auditions. And so social media, again, I mean, it seems like if you don't have 1 million followers, something's wrong. So what's your approach as a casting director when maybe somebody comes in who has 5,000 followers and somebody that comes in who's got 5 million? Does that play into anything in your decision when you're trying to cast?
Only if that's the direction we've been given from the producers. So casting directors do not cast by social media numbers, but there are roles that are specifically, for example, written for social media influencers or projects that specifically want actors with a large social media following, but it is not something that we in casting look for. So I'm going to bring in this person over this person because they have more Twitter followers. We don't do that unless that's the direction that we've been given. I think having a social media following is important, but there are plenty of projects where you're told specifically to not talk about it at all on social media. So, it's kind of a personal decision how active you want to be on social media, and sometimes it works to your advantage, and sometimes it doesn't.
There you go. You can't get more straightforward than that. It can be a useful tool, but then, like you said, it can also backfire. Or sometimes it's a great marketing tool that you're not allowed to use because you're not allowed to talk about the project. So, yeah, I think you addressed that perfect. So, what do you have coming up? You said you got pilot season coming up. Are you currently working on anything that you can talk about, or we know?
We're doing Cloak and Dagger for right now, and then the holidays. Next week sort of begins the holiday after next week ends, and then it's pilot season. So I don't know what is up next. We usually get our pilot assignments towards the end of January, so I'll be on Cloak and Dagger until then, and then we'll see what pilot season brings.
Oh man,
exciting stuff.
Well, listen, dude, we really appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
Yeah.
Like I said, we cannot praise you guys enough. We think we need more people like you all in the industry. I think what you guys do and the approach that you do it with and the passion that you do it with is just phenomenal. You're good people. Not only are your projects solid and everything that you associate with good, but more importantly, you're good people, and we need more of that. And you guys are just fantastic. And like I said, we really appreciate you coming on and talking to us, man.
Yeah, we appreciate all the support you've given us, and thanks for all the kind words, and I'm sure we'll keep in contact, so thank you guys so much.
Oh, absolutely,
Of
man.
course.
Yeah, we will definitely be in touch with you. And listen, anytime you want to come on and just shoot the shit, or you got a project you want to promote that you're allowed to talk about, that open invite, man, to you and all y'all guys. Just whenever you guys want to come on, just give us a call, and we'll make it happen, man.
That sounds good. I appreciate it.
Yep, fantastic, bro. You have a good rest of the night, and we'll be in touch soon, man.
All right, sounds good. You too.
All right, take care now.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Woo.
Yeah.
Man.
It's just awesome to get that point of view, because we talk about so often about how people come in and they get asked about their social media numbers. Well, if they're asked to do that from the producer, then it makes sense, but not on every audition that happens. So.
Right. And I mean, that's good to hear, because, we do hear about it from so many of the guests that we've had on, actors and stuff. So it's good to know that I don't know if you want to say it's good to know it's coming from the studios or the producers, but it is nice to know that it's not coming from the cast.
Yeah.
That you heard it, guys and gals, right from a casting director's mouth. Yeah. They do not cast that way unless told to. So if you miss out on a role because you didn't have enough followers, don't blame the casting people. That's somewhere it's coming from above them.
It's a producing.
So I love it. And Cuse. I mean, come on, man. What a great guy, though.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
best of luck, seriously, to him and Spencer. I love that him and Spencer, by the way. And if you haven't listened to the show with J.S. Mayonk and Spencer Garrett, go check that out. We'll repost a link to that one, too.
Yeah.
For America 2.0, but I love that they have a production company.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
They seem like they're a good fit.
Hell yeah, they really
they both
do.
know how to work a room and make a pitch, don't they? So
honestly. All right, now it is time for the top 5. Oh man, this one was hard. Top 5 Christmas movies. 'Tis the season, guys. 'Tis
I gotta
the
be
season.
honest. I'm a pull what y'all pull sometimes, where I have more than one for.
Don't lie, you do it too.
Not very often.
It's true.
Not as often as you guys.
Yeah.
But I did this time.
it's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Because Christmas is the time to be generous.
That's right.
That's okay. I have 7 too, because I couldn't come up with 5. I mean,
yeah. Well, I kind of tried to break them down into categories. So.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
I'm
I
ready.
bet we have a lot of duplicates.
Probably.
Because, I mean, come on, everybody loves Christmas.
And there's not, there's a lot, but there's not that many.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's sort of a limited category.
All right. Let's hear what you got.
So probably my number 1 is Elf, because I love Zoe Deschanel. I love Will Ferrell. It's just a good movie.
And a former guest,
Ed Asner.
Mr. Ed Asner.
And it's
That's
just,
right.
it was just funny.
It was.
And then number 2 is A Christmas Story, because growing up, that was one of the ones that we watched every year, no matter what. We always watched on Christmas Day. So for number 3, this is going to be kind of also nostalgic, but like tied as the Santa Claus and how the Grinch stole Christmas.
The Santa Claus is nostalgic.
Well, for people born.
Because
I've got people born before that, and I've got some on my list for that.
So anyway, so it's tied with How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
There you go.
Either the animated or the live action, honestly. Then I have for animated ones, Charlie Brown Christmas / Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh.
And then for ones that are like kind of Christmassy, but also kind of dramas, I have The Family Stone / The Holiday.
Oh, nice.
Interesting. The Holiday. Yeah. Holiday was good.
That's mine's.
All right. Lil Cam, by the way, has joined us. Woohoo! Late arrival, but she is here just in time.
Yep.
I have to pull up my top 5.
There it is.
Oh, you have mine. Okay. Okay, so I had Elf.
Of course.
And How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Of course.
And Charlie Brown.
Of course.
And then I had Rudolph.
Oh, Rudolph. Yeah.
And the first Home Alone because Logan finally made me start watching this.
That's right.
Yes. Little Cam had not seen Home Alone.
Yeah.
Like 19 years on this earth, she had not seen Home Alone.
Either one.
Sorry.
She still hasn't seen the second one.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
That's why it's not on the list.
It's so frustrating. But anyway, my top 5. Jack Frost.
That was a good one.
Yes,
A Christmas
Jack Frost.
Story, of
Yes.
course. Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Yes.
The Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yes.
And Home Alone 2.
I mean, see, like, okay, we've got a lot of duplicates
Yeah.
because guess what's on my list too? How the Grinch Stole Christmas, A Christmas Story, Elf, The Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I mean, Christmas Vacation.
Oh,
Jeez,
yeah.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on, you gotta have Christmas Vacation, right? And then for people of older nature, 2 classics: Miracle on 34th Street, the original with Natalie Wood. I mean, God, such a beauty. That's a great, and it's a wonderful life.
It's a wonderful life.
It's a wonderful life. Yeah, because they're classics. You
know.
gotta have It's a Wonderful
Hell
Life
yeah.
and
Hell yeah.
Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, man.
You'll shoot your eye out.
That's
That's right.
yes. There's always a song.
there
Baby
is.
always has a song.
Is that a song? I feel like that's more of like a mock.
Yeah, but
or
you just
chant.
sang it. So
Yeah,
like,
But that's what they did.
That's true. That's
true.
true. All right. Word of the day. We're going to keep with the theme of Christmas.
La
And the word of the
palabra
day
del día.
today is Yule.
Yule.
Yule. Y-U-L-E. Yule. It is of British origin, and it simply means Christmas and or the Christmas season.
Ooh.
As in Yuletide or Yule log.
Yuletide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yule.
you'll have a
and shit.
Merry Christmas.
Yule.
There you go.
Yes.
That's
You
right.
will get lots of presents.
I was hoping you'd make the joke because I almost did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got you.
Yes.
That's funny shit. All right. Box office predictions. I don't know what I did last week because, I mean, it was the same movies for 3 weeks and, But anyway, new movies coming out this week. Once Upon a Deadpool is finally coming out.
Oh, yeah. The only F word in this one is Fred.
Yeah.
Fred Savage.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
I'm really interested to see what that's going to be like.
Yeah.
Mortal Engines, The Mule with
oh, man.
Bradley
I am
Cooper
and Clint Eastwood.
yeah.
Which I'm loving because it's like the passing of the baton, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be epic.
I can't wait. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, my gosh.
yeah.
Is that this week, too?
That's this week.
Jeez, I'm going to be at the movies a lot this
Right.
week. Like,
And then movies that are already out: The Grinch, Bohemian Rhapsody, Overlord, The Nutcracker, and The Four Realms, Fantastic Beasts sequel, Instant Family, which I hear more and more people talking about it
I'm
every day.
telling you, if you haven't
So-
seen it, go see it. Great film.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Widows, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Creed 2.
Mm.
This week, I think number 1 will be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Universe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
With 30 to 35 million. Yeah.
I can believe it.
Mm-hmm. It looks
And
good.
not that there's not other great things going up against it, but Marvel, man, it's hard to compete with
Yeah,
anything
I
Marvel.
mean,
Yeah, and I mean, that was the one that they showed at the end of the Venom trailer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And number 2, I think, will be The Mule with 17 to 20 million. Number 3, I think, will be Once Upon a Deadpool with 15 million.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, I think, will be Mortal Engines with around 12 million. Number 5, I think, The Grinch with around 7 to 10 million.
I can see that for Deadpool because probably a lot of people are like, "Well, I already saw the first one. Why don't I want to see it again?" So
Yeah,
I can see why
exactly.
it might
Because
not
it's
do
like
as well.
it's like a remake of the second one, but it's like a PG-13
But then
version.
not. Yeah, like apparently
With
it's
new
got like
scenes.
new scenes and a
Yeah.
bit of a different storyline. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And from the trailer, because I mean, they break the fourth wall all the time anyway.
Yeah.
But from the trailer, it looks kind of Christmas themed.
It does. Well, yeah.
I have
it's-
no
they're
idea.
billing it as a holiday film.
Yeah.
Which
So
I don't even with Fred Savage.
Yeah, with Fred
Savage. We can't escape the Savage Brothers.
Right?
Like, Mr. Feeny on the show, right? We had Mr. Feeny and talked about,
You know.
Now we just need the actual Savage Brothers.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be epic.
Fred and Ben. We should have, Savage Squared.
Savage Squared.
Let's make that happen. Come on, Savage guys.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Savage Bros.
Let's call Bill back and see if we can make that happen.
Right?
They're real nice.
Mr. Matthews, you and your brother.
That's right.
All right,
That was
Billboard. Thank you. Billboard chart toppers. Hot 100. Ariana Grande's back in there after being kicked off. She was like number 2 for the past 2 weeks, but now she's back at number 1 with "Thank You Next," which that music video has been streamed so many times on YouTube.
I think she jumped back into the number 1 spot because of James Corden's "Thank You Next" tribute.
You think so?
To Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Or it could have been because of her music video.
That's true. But if you haven't seen the spoof of it that James Corden does with Jeff Goldblum, you gotta watch it. It's absolutely hilarious. Him on the bed in his jammies with his feet looking at the love book. Oh my god, you gotta watch it.
That's funny as shit. And then the top 200 albums, Meek Mill's new album, Championships, which is pretty good. I reviewed that in fantastic reviews if you want to go listen. And an honorable mention, A Star Is Born soundtrack is still in the top 10.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I mean...
And I bet jumps back to number 1 after the Golden Globes and the Oscars.
Oh, shit.
Probably.
Because it's going to get Shallows and all that whole side is going to get a ton of play after the award season because people are going to be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Especially when they sing it on the shows.
Exactly.
People are going to be like, shit, I got to go see this movie and buy the soundtrack.
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy.
It
But
is.
anyway, guys, thank you for tuning into the show this week. Oh, it was a whole lot of fun. Holy moly and all that good stuff. Make sure to follow us at all of our social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Facebook, Crazy Ant Media. Twitter, Crazy Ant Media. Instagram, Crazy Ant Media. No more underscores.
No more underscores.
We were kind of sad about that.
I know.
Yeah, I know. It's sad.
It's just
Crazy
Ant
Media. And we have a website, crazyantmedia.com. And you can like and subscribe to this podcast anywhere you get podcasts now. We're getting it out everywhere.
It's like literally everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Inside the Crazy Ant Farm. Subscribe, like, rate, comment, all that good shit. And one more thing. We love Oprah!
_